Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome back. Now we're going to be starting our green tech DAO development. We've been through the basics so far in the course, so this is an opportunity to launch our DAO. It's just going to be a short video showing you how to do that. Shouldn't be more than 10 minutes. So first of all, we're going to head over to Aragon. And the reason why we're going to utilize Aragon is a DAO building resource. It's super simple, no coding required, and you just need some basic Web3 and other type of knowledge. We're certainly not going to go and do any coding of smart contracts, so it's pretty straightforward. It's essentially an infrastructure tool for DAO creation, and it's all open source. So the first thing is we're going to need a crypto wallet extension like MetaMask. Over here, you can just add those extensions into your Google Chrome bar. And we're not going to be using the Rinkeby testnet. I've seen many of the YouTube videos still showing in order for you to have some test ether deposited in your account to create the DAO, you can use Rinkeby. It's no longer valid post the merge, and now we are simply going to be using either Goerli or Sepolio. The reason why I've chosen Goerli is that obviously it's a large state. It's used for testing complex smart contract interactions, and it's been around for quite some time. Sepolio, on the other hand, is newer in that regard. Less applications have been deployed in comparison to Goerli. But you have the opportunity to use both. Both will suffice, but certainly I'm going to be using Goerli and showing you that. So the first thing that we have to do is head over to the Goerli faucet. As we can see here, this will allow you to obtain some test ether, and as you can see, you can obtain 0.05 Goerli ether per day. So what you will have to do is essentially click on your MetaMask wallet, copy the extension across, paste it into this area here, and then you click on send me ether. Now I've done that over a period of 5 days, so obviously I've got enough ether in order to create the DAO. We will need 0.2 ether in total, so if you have 0.05 per day, you just have to bear with yourself for 4 days. But you can click on the transaction to see whether it's been success and validated, and this happens in a matter of seconds. You can then head over back to your MetaMask wallet, choose the Goerli Ether network, and you'll see that the transaction has been validated. We're then going to head over to our Aragon website, and then we're going to start the process of creating our DAO organization. So now that we've headed back over to Aragon, we're going to go ahead and create our DAO. So we've got these two options. One is create an organization, and one is open an existing organization. So what we're going to utilize is create a new organization. We've got to make sure that our wallet has been connected here, and you can see it's green ticked. So it's connected to the Goerli testing network, and that's our ether address there. So that's all set up. It's cool. So let's go over to create an organization. So we have one of 5 processes to follow. The first one being selecting a template. Here we've got a couple of options. One is company, so essentially use transferable tokens to represent ownership stake in an organization. Decisions are made on stake weighted voting. The alternative is membership. Use a non-transferable token to represent membership. Decisions are made based on one member, one vote governance. There is another option for reputation, but we won't be doing that. So we'll just have a look in more detail about membership. If you click on view details, it'll give you some more information here. There's a user guide. You can also see the source code on GitHub. Also, the included apps will be part of the template configuration, voting, tokens, and finance. There is an optional app called Agent, but since we're not coding our own smart contract, we will keep this ticked off. But if you are to use your own smart contract, then you can click it on here. So that's brilliant. We can now go ahead and utilize this template. So here we got to create our own organization name. So I'm going to call it Green Tech DAO. And then the next step is to configure our template. So now that we're able to claim a name, we're going to move on next to configure a template by clicking here. You can see that we have various options in terms of configuring and voting settings as shown here. It varies with support. Support is essentially the percentage of tokens that are required to vote yes for a proposal to be approved. So for example, if support is set to 50% as default, then more than 50% of the tokens used to vote on a proposal must vote yes for it to pass. Similarly, we've got the minimum approval percentage. We've set it here default as 15%. And essentially that is a percentage of the total token supply that is required to vote yes on a proposal before it can be approved. So if it's set to more than 15%, then more than 15% of the outstanding token supply must vote yes on a proposal for it to pass. And then the vote duration, you can vary by hours, minutes, or days. We'll leave it as 1 day being the default. So that's straightforward. Next, we can go ahead and configure the template. So let's finalize this step. Let's press next. And here we are in the final stages of configuring the template. So the token name, we're going to call it Green Tech DAO. And then the token symbol we want to give it is GTech. And here we're going to have to put in our token holder's account address. So we go back to MetaMask. It's just going to load the address. We're going to copy our GreenTech DAO test ether address, and we're just going to paste it straight into this bar here. Next, we're going to review the information, and then we're able to launch our organization. Perfect. So we're on the create the organization stage, and we can see that we have a transaction pending in MetaMask. I'm just going to click on it and then verify that transaction. So let's take a look at what it says. So we have a new address detected. Click here to add it to your address book. We can see here that this is new token and instance. This is on the client.aragon.org. We can see the estimated gas fees and how we can do it. So we're going to confirm that transaction by clicking on confirm. We can see that it's processing. You can see that the transaction is now pending. You have the option to speed it up. That just simply means that you'll increase your gas fees, but it normally doesn't take too long for the transaction to be verified. So we'll give it a few more seconds. Hopefully it'll work very quickly, and you can see that the new token and instance has been confirmed. So now our organization is all ready. Excellent. Let's go on to the next step. Okay, cool. So now that our organization is ready, let's click on Get Started to see what we can do here. So that's loading the organization, which will be our GreenTech DAO. So what do we want to do? It's going to just load the apps on this left-hand side. We'll see the various apps that we had. So the tokens, voting, and finance. So the first thing, obviously, that we want to do is assign some tokens to ourselves, seeing as we're the only participant in this DAO so far. Here we can have, and here we already have, we have one token left. You can remove that token, or you can add a custom label. And then if you want more participants or token holders, you can just click on add tokens here, and then you just put their valid Ethereum address and the number of tokens you wish to add. But for simplicity, let's just leave it as it is. So we have one token holder with one token at the moment. Next thing we want to do, let's have a look at voting and see what we can do here. So there's no votes here. We can create a new vote for the community to vote on. In our case, it will be us. And in this instance, it will be voting on a new investment opportunity, sorry, spelled that wrong, investment opportunity, which is in this case vertical farming. So we're going to be asking the community whether they think this is a new opportunity in order for investment purposes. So we can then click on create the new vote. There should be something happening in the background here. Then you can perform this transaction through tokens. So we're going to create the transaction. Let's see, it's waiting for signature. We should have been identified in MetaMask. You can see that here. There we go. So that is the transaction to confirm. We can then click on confirm. So the transaction has been signed, closed, and then let's just see, we've got a notification up here. Let's see what it says. So the transaction's pending. It should be verified very quickly, and you'll see that this page will change as it is. So there we have it. So we have now an opportunity to vote on this proposal. As we set it up in the beginning, we had 24 hours to vote. So we can click on here and then we can say yes or no. So we're going to go ahead. We think this is a great opportunity for vertical farming. And if we recall at the beginning when we set it up, the support that was required was a greater than 50%, which is perfect. And the minimum approval was 15%. So let's go ahead and click yes. We're voting with one GTEC token. So now again, there'll be a pending transaction. Let's create that transaction, waiting for signature. It's going to open up our wallet to verify that transaction. Let it just load. Then again, we can see that this is a vote, and it'll give the amount and the gas fee required to confirm that vote. Confirm it. Transaction is signed. Let's close here. And then you're going to see that that transaction or that vote has been approved, and that'll be vote number 1. We just have to wait for it to be confirmed. It's pending at the moment. You can see here in the notifications. Let that just process, and again this page will change. So let's move away from there. It's all confirmed. That's brilliant. So voting on a new investment opportunity, vertical farming, the vote was cast successfully, and we voted with one GTEC token, being the only participant. So that is brilliant. So what else are the other options? So you have permissions, which you can change. So here you can have a look at all the assigned permissions for the DAO, and you can manage these by voting, tokens, etc. And you can change and alter the permissions or assign a role and assign permissions to that particular individual, etc. Then there's the opportunity to show you the number of installed apps, and then you can have a look at the organizational settings that's deployed on the GUI testnet. So that essentially completes our DAO formation. It was a very short video, but hopefully you're able to replicate and create a DAO for yourselves later on. Hope you liked it. Thanks very much.